Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop culture edition. Yes, it is.
Well, are you ready just to get right into it?
Yes.
I feel like so much is happening.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like we're
and
missing something, but I can't think of what it is.
we're missing lots, I'm sure. Just so much is happening in the internet world right now. So, this is decently old news, I guess, at this point, as far as like us only recording every 2 weeks goes. But we should close out this because we had talked about it here before. Matthew Perry's death, which we were all told was definitely an accident. No one to be concerned about. And then there have now been multiple arrests made in connection with his death. And investigations, apparently, like immediately, they began investigations into his ketamine suppliers. The investigating entities, I just thought this was interesting, include the LAPD, the DEA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh, yes.
So they got
you know the investigative agency, the USPS.
Yep. And they said, we're going to need you to tell us everything that was ever mailed ever.
Is that how the ketamine queen got her shit around?
Maybe.
Via mail?
Maybe. Matthew Perry was said to be getting ketamine infusions, which we knew this. They said he was getting, I don't know what words to use, but like we were made to believe they were like official. They were prescribed. They were like medically necessary. He was getting ketamine infusions for depression and anxiety. Before his death, his most recent like official one would have been a week and a half before. But the medical examiner concluded that the ketamine that was found in his toxicology report after his death couldn't have been from that infusion because ketamine only stays in your system for 3 to 4 hours. So, oof. For some reason, he had it that day. Yeah. But now, a California doctor and drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen has been charged in an 18-count indictment. And basically, the story is that her and some other doctors and drug dealers worked together to get ketamine and needles to Matthew Perry's assistant, who administered it to him, leading to his death. So his assistant is also named in this. It's just hard to know, like, did they want to kill him? Or were they, like, feeding an addiction? And, like, it just helps keep them in business to, like, give him as much as he wants. Yeah. Or were they lying and saying, like, no, you need more. And, like, then it just went wrong. So I guess stay tuned. We'll, like, have a trial possibly and, like, things to learn. But I thought that was riveting. The ketamine queen gets got. Not that we knew who she was before, but
the ketamine queen.
The DEA has probably been waiting for this moment. Next, like, I think biggest thing happening on the internet right now is we all hate Blake Lively now. Yeah. So Blake Lively and her husband, but mostly her because it's her movie, have been facing skepticism and backlash in relation to It Ends With Us hitting theaters. At first, people were just kind of like, like it seems weird that Blake and Ryan aren't filming any like press stuff with Justin Baldoni, but they're filming it with like her other love interest. And so like, what's happening? People were just like, is there beef? At first, people were just like, I think Blake had like a lot of a say, and maybe he just felt like she overstepped his director role, so they just don't like each other, whatever. But then it started to become more than that. So Justin Baldoni said in an interview that he would not direct a sequel, but that he thinks Blake Lively is ready to direct, which could be very nice or could be shade to the fact that she's been basically directing anyway. Right. Blake did say that Ryan wrote one of the scenes, which like isn't inherently you're like, oh, that's cute. Her husband's like so involved. And she was like, we're involved in each other's projects. But if you think about it from Justin Baldoni's perspective, that might suck.
Right.
That Ryan Reynolds is just coming in and writing scenes in a movie he's not even in.
Right.
So that was like the initial thought. But Justin has since just kind of talked about that, like, he really wanted to, in this movie, like, value and prioritize, like, the female perspective. That especially in, like, the violent scenes, he had women kind of, like, he wanted their input and how things should go and how to be, like, sensitive with the topic. So the main complaints now are that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are conducting themselves very differently than Justin Baldoni in this press tour, and they are not treating this like it's a movie about domestic violence, which, to be frank, I did not know until people started saying that about her. I was like, oh, yeah, see, I get that.
Yeah.
So Blake said, grab your girls, wear your florals, head to the movies. Ryan Reynolds did a funny interview with another actor from the movie where he talked about his butt in his jeans. Blake has also used the tour to promote her hair care line, but Justin Baldoni's interviews seem like a stark contrast. They have all been essentially trigger warnings for anyone who wants to see this movie and may have gone through something similar. He says that he hopes that they handled the topic well in the making of this movie, and he talks about how hard it's been for him, that he would have to, like, step out of scenes. He was afraid he was, like, becoming this, like, angry person. He would have to, like, really take moments away from it. And so it's just a little, like, unnerving to see that difference. Yeah. Blake Lively has said, though, that Lily Bloom is not defined by her experience with domestic violence. However, it maybe came a little late and comes across as, like, damage control at this point. So I don't know. And then people have started sharing now just videos from the years of her being rude to interviewers and castmates. They say she's a mean girl. They say that we've known this since Gossip Girl. There were, like, allegations that she was really mean to Leighton Meester.
Yeah, they're, like, not, like, they, like, don't get along.
Yeah, and people were like, see, like, we knew this. But
yeah. You will never catch me reading a Colleen Hoover book.
Absolutely
like,
not.
Let's put that out there now.
Like my son's big balls, or my son has my big balls. Can't do it.
A florist named Lily Blossom Bloom is just not something I could stomach reading over and over and over again. So, like, let's, like, put that out there. I would not ever read that book. However, I did kind of want to see the movie because at the time it came out, I was like, I love Blake Lively. I love Justin Baldoni. Like, I love Janice Slate. Like, I would be okay, I think, watching it in movie form as opposed to reading it. But, like, this whole thing has just kind of made me, like, so, like, sad because, like, I think we would like to think that because Blake Lively is Taylor Swift's best friend, that, like, she must be, like, a real girl's girl and, like, all these great things. And so it's just kind of, like, disheartening to hear that she's not and, like, to see it, like, in those videos and those interviews that she's really not. Just, like, makes me sad. But I do kind of want to see the movie. Because I think, like, the concept of Colleen Hoover's writing is fine. Yeah, like, the plot.
I have heard, though, that the wardrobe is, like, distracting.
That it's so, like, horrendously bright florals.
And, like,
and it's ugly.
It's like Joey
matches
wearing everything in Chandler's closet. Yeah, I understand, like, this is maybe, like, the view of people. Like, Blake Lively has her own merits, right? And, like, we are deeply into the Taylor Swift culture, so, like, maybe this isn't what everyone's thinking. But when this first happened, I did wonder, like, she is saying these things, and, like, how is she not seeing how this is going to be taken?
Right.
When people go see the movie, and they're like, she told me to wear my florals. She didn't tell me I was going to be depressed. Like,
Right.
what? I don't get how she didn't see that. And I thought, like, does she think that, like, being Taylor Swift's best friend and, like, Ryan Reynolds' wife or, like, whatever, does she think Ryan Reynolds? Does she think that it, like, makes her immune from this? Does she think that, like, she's, like, protected? Like, I just, like, didn't get it. It feels very, like, bold.
Oh, I've also seen some people criticizing, and again, this is more a criticism of Colleen Hoover, I guess, that, like, the scene, there are, like, scenes going around TikTok from the movie, and there's one when they're in the hospital after their daughter's been born, and she's like, what would you say to her if she, like, she was like, what would you say if she came home and she told you about things that were happening to her that you've done to me? And people were like, I've lived this. I would never in my life ask my man that while he's holding my baby, because it would not end the way that it just ended in this film. And, like, I think that, like, I don't know, I do kind of want to see it, but I also feel like it's probably just not great overall.
Yeah.
It's not going to do well overall, because I think, like, a combination of this author kind of sucks. The main actress is kind of sucks right now, and, like, that maybe it's not, like, an accurate
Yeah, but I mean, movies
depiction.
don't have to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When it was first, before we got all the, like, clips of her being a mean girl, there was a part of me that wondered, and we'll see throughout this episode that this is just a theme of mine, that I feel this, like, really desperate need for the women in every situation to be right. But there was a part of me that wondered, like, is it performative for Justin Baldoni? Like, he has, like, a podcast where he talks about, like, men having feelings and, like, being emotional and, like, whatever. And then all of this, and then we're getting mad at Blake Lively for whatever, like, not being sensitive enough. And I was like, is he just, like, trying to, like, be this, like, really good guy, and he's trying too hard?
Right. Because, I mean, there are other movies about, like, sensitive topics where the actors on the press tour don't constantly have to be.
Yes, but he's
like,
he's the director too. I think that's different.
I'm just saying for her.
No, yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that, and that's part of it too, right? Is that he has, like, a different obligation as one of the main actors and a director to be like, like, I am accountable for how it's made too. But yeah, as we went on and we started seeing Blake just kind of, like, being mean to people, I was like, oh, like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. I don't know how much more I can defend her.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say something else, but now I forget.
We'll see how that plays out.
Oh, I was gonna say, he gives me, like, the same vibes as Neve Schulman.
But see, that's good vibes for me.
Yeah. I'm just, that's who I think of.
I do think he probably is good. I just, when we put a man and a woman against each other, I start, like, looking for anything to be like, maybe he's sus, actually.
He started being shady in those interviews because he was like, first y'all got me stuck with Gina Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And her racist ass. And now, I got this mean girl on my back.
Yeah. Moving on to more smorgasbord of things. It seems, although we were promised this would not happen, just like we were promised we wouldn't get a new New Jersey cast and all the other things we've been promised, Sheena and Lala seem to have joined the Valley filming. But for right now, it seems only in friend roles. and it is to fill the gap that Jax Taylor left behind. Does this mean they won't
The
be in Vanderpump Rules?
Jax-shaped holes in our hearts.
Yeah. Does this mean they won't be on Vanderpump Rules? I don't necessarily think so. I don't think you couldn't be a friend of and still, I don't know. But also, Jax is heading back, so I don't know if that means they're done now. Rumors are swirling that what sent him to inpatient treatment was finding out that Brittany was seeing a friend of his.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is the other, like, that's so Jax, though, to be, like, so performative in that way that he's like, oh, you're going to be my friend? Well, now I need mental health treatment.
Yeah.
You've made me nuts.
Yeah. Nia posted some pictures from Jax's bar of her, Brittany, Zach, and Kristen wearing shirts that said Brit Studio City, which is like the name of the bar, but they replaced Jax's with Brit's.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like cackling when I saw it because in her caption, she listed like I think no less than 4 times like this is a joke. This
all
is
in
funny.
good fun.
And all in good fun. And I think the reason it made me laugh so hard is because it reminded me of like the scene where Danny was like drinking and she was like, stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like didn't have the reunion. And I was like, no, I think that's like so who Nia is though. Like she's like, I want to post this, but like I have to be so careful not to piss anyone off. So she said like, this is all in good fun. This is just a joke. Like, it's not real. But she said that they always joke that they call it Brit's Bar anyway. So basically, like, while the cat's away, the mice will play. And they did like a whole theme night, I guess, for it. They had like a banner and shirts made and stuff. And despite her telling us several times in the
copious
caption
amounts
that it was all in good fun, people in the comments still said she was being very insensitive. They were like, so you jump at the first chance you get when he goes to inpatient therapy to make his bar all about his ex-wife? Like, that's weird. And I was like, I mean, I don't know.
But it's like, fuck Jax, and like, Brittany does more of the day-to-day work in that bar than he does, and that's why they call it Brits. Like, there's a reason that they joke and call it Brits.
Right. It's not all in good fun.
But
we get it. Like, we get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But, like, also how Nia to be like, oh my god, this is, like, such a joke. We're just
everyone's
funny. My favorite...
more of a way of saying, like, do not take to the comments and rip him to shreds. Like, that's not what we're trying to get you to do. Like, just let me post this.
My favorite comments were the ones that said that they thought that she was Rachel in the pictures, because I guess they kind of do look alike in the pictures she posts. But yeah, they were like, hey, this is kind of shitty of y'all. And I was like,
fuck off.
Or it's kind of shitty to make your ex-wife run your whole life.
Yeah. J-Lo filed for divorce from Ben Affleck, which has just led to a lot of fun memes about how she just put out one of the worst documentaries of all time, convincing us that she finally found true love, just to go. So that's fun. Yeah.
I didn't put anything about claim to fame, but Danny's relative was Mark Anthony. And I think now it's down to 4 of them, and it's Hud, Mackenzie, Shane, and Adam. But yeah, the J-Lo fell for J-Lo was Mark Anthony. Sabrina Carpenter's new album came out today. Peep the Sabrina Carpenter shirt.
Cute.
From her merch. So excited. Also, back to Vanderpump Rules. I need to start putting these in an order that makes sense instead of just putting all of mine at the end.
That's the point of tidbits, though. They're just a cluster.
We had speculated when Vanderpump Rules was on that something was kind of going on with Tom Tom. We noticed that the pump sign had been put up
Next to the Tom sign?
and we talked about like that there was some event that like we were like that makes sense, but then it stayed there. And it seems like it is officially being rebranded as Pump. And a friend of Lisa's said that she does have plans to buy the Toms out and to just turn Tom into Pump.
Yeah. Terminate them.
Yeah.
I talk about this every week. I find a way to fit it in, even when it's not running. So I should tell you that season 5 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City will be back on September 18th, and we officially have the trailer, which I'm not gonna debrief.
With your girl.
I can't.
Maybe Cosby.
So everyone should go watch it and get ready. I'm so glad I'm in my 3rd rewatch because now it's going to time out perfectly. But dude, I did not need Mary Cosby back.
She crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now she got this crazy storyline. We're going to see her marriage fall apart.
And that's fun. She always has a crazy storyline. But at least this time it's not like corruption at her church, although it probably would still be.
Yeah.
Also, last 2 weeks ago, we talked about how much we love and adore Cedric on Big Brother. And then all of these little rats stabbed him in the back and voted him out, which was absolutely devastating. I don't remember being this heartbroken about a Big Brother eviction in a long time. Following this, we get graced with a chaotic Tucker HOH, which Tucker being a house guest is chaotic enough, ending in a lot of Black people being on the block. That was a lot of bees. And one of them goes home, which is Miss Brooklyn this time. So
I didn't know Brooklyn was Black. Yeah, I think obviously sad that Cedric went home. But also, that's kind of what you get when you volunteer to go on the block.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
He should have known better, but he didn't. She is listed under African American contestants on the Big Brother wiki page.
Okay, so we've done some research. We have no vested interest in questioning Brooklyn's race, other than questioning why Tucker seemed to put all the Black people on the block.
Right.
But once her parents do not look to be Black. One source says that Brooklyn is white, which I also disagree with.
Yeah.
Whatever. But others say that she is one of the African Americans in the house. And it brings a lot of questions up.
Right. And I think that's like a fair point because like I didn't think of Tucker's nominations that way because I didn't realize if she's Black that she is. And
because I think that's why her, Chelsea, and Cam were so blindsided by T-Core when T-Core voted Cedric out, because they were like, wait, we agreed that we at least wouldn't do this to each other.
Right.
So I don't know if she's just connecting with them as a person of color, but then there are other people of color in the house. So it feels like that wasn't the connection that was being made.
Yeah. But then I also feel like that makes him calling Brooklyn and Chelsea the ringleaders, the masterminds, and putting Chelsea up as a replacement
microaggression.
It's so much ickier. Yeah. When you think of it that way.
Well, and I haven't watched it, but I looked up what happened for this. And yeah, I mean the idea when at first he put up Brooklyn Cam and Quinn, and it's like,
Mhm.
whatever, he's not working with them, but to like take the one white person off the block and then replace Quinn with Chelsea
Right.
starts to look not great. You
And
know?
and like I know you said like you haven't seen it, but you looked it up. I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you that before Tucker could put anyone on the block, he had to go on this long ass monologue
Yeah.
about how everyone's a traitor and like everyone's lying and everyone's betraying him, directed specifically at Brooklyn and Chelsea
Yeah.
before he put
So,
her.
weigh in, not with frivolous speculation about someone's race, but weigh in if you remember that conversation with all the black folks. Weigh in on if Tucker is a little insensitive. And yeah, did you think Brooklyn was black?
When you do watch the last night's episode, I want to get your opinion on Rubina's hair.
Okay. I will give it.
Thank you.
All right, on to Miss Taylor Swift. So this time it was real. We were finally gonna get Reputation TV. So much so that I put a Reputation t-shirt in my cart and I said, when she announces it, I will buy this. She even seemed to say, buy this.
Yeah.
Katie, buy this.
He said, when I announce this, you can buy this.
Yeah. She held up a 20 instead of a 22 when everyone already thought it was coming on the 20th. Felt like confirmation. She did multiple snake hand motions. This is all following the weird snake hissing coming out of the piano. People also said that they saw her rehearsing in Wembley until 2 a.m. with green and red lights strobing everywhere. So they were like, obviously, it's a new Reputation set.
Yes. I was so sure. I feel like Tater has broken my heart for the last time. I cannot possibly hold out hope any longer. But then I thought about like would it be kind of shitty if she did announce 3 days ago the Reputation was coming out and then her little Polly Pocket Besties album dropped today, like maybe she's
But it wouldn't be out. There wouldn't
want
be
to
anything for
like
them to listen to yet.
take the spotlight from
Yeah.
her. But I can't
Yeah.
clown anymore.
So, for the last leg of the European tour, we did not get Reputation TV announced.
Reputation.
People have a list of possible dates that it could be, and there seems to be one date left on that list. And of course, she could just say, fuck your list. Y'all are all idiots. But if people's lists are to be believed, then it would be coming at the VMAs in September. But maybe we don't put anything in our carts this time.
You jinxed
Leave
us.
the cart empty. So instead of that, though, we got a bunch of other chaos. It turns out that the green and red light rehearsal was for the addition of Florida into the Tortured Poets set with Florence.
Christmas.
Yep. And I swear to God, they almost made out. Have you not seen that clip?
No.
Oh my God. She's like down on her knees and she like holds her hand up to Florence and she pulls her up and then they're like chest to chest like this, like singing to each other and everyone's like, okay, Taylor. Like, so I feel like you're fucking with us with the Reputation thing and now you're fucking with us with the Gaylor stuff. Stop it. So then during the surprise songs, Jack Antonoff joined her to do a mashup of Death by a Thousand Cuts and Getaway Car. Plus, they reenacted the process of trying to write Getaway Car. Cute.
Kurt.
And finally, the show ended and led us to watching what people are saying is a preview but like I'm pretty sure it was like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Of the new I Can Do It With a Broken Heart music video, which is made with behind the scenes clips of the Eras tour. So all of that, like, oh, look at all this behind this, they're shooting behind the scenes, there's gonna be a documentary. People still think there could be, or it was just for the music video.
Tragedy.
Yep. People are shocked to find out that Taylor Swift has a seat and lights inside the cleaning cart that she gets pushed into the show in.
I read that sentence so many times, and I was like, "What the fuck does that mean? That she has a seat and lights? Like, what does that mean?" And then I finally like realized, I was like, "Oh, in the cleaning cart."
I think I would be shocked to find out that she's actually in there hunched over.
Right.
Excuse me?
In the dark.
Yeah.
And then like her back would be.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna sit, guys. She also seems to have some Reputation-looking boots that we've never seen.
Is it the boots that are in the intro to Reputation that people point out, like, it's obviously not the boots she wears on tour because there's a snake on both of them and they're both a long pant, I think. But in the show it's obviously like one boot with a snake and
I
only
don't know what
one
that means,
one.
the intro to Reputation.
So like in the
Oh,
show,
like it's like
on the
playing on the
screen,
screen.
yeah, like where she's like
Sure.
stomping out.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, they're just this, they are like the red snake thing, but like both sides. And like maybe she just practices in them because they're like the closest thing to the heels she wears.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe they filmed it during practice.
Yeah. There's also an all gold I Can Do It With a Broken Heart outfit that we've never seen. And we see her rehearsing in the same black skirt that she wore to Coachella with Mr. Kelsey in the background at her rehearsal. Which, of course, he goes to her rehearsal because he was in the show, but just little Travis in the back.
It's a little baby.
So, while this next theory doesn't explain teasing us with snake sounds, snake hand motions, and all the other things, do we now come to terms? She posted all the colors of the eras, whatever. Do we finally ever come to terms with the fact that maybe all of the green is actually signaling that debut is coming next, and she will end with Reputation for all the re-records?
Big Reputation. I don't know. I think that if we're going based on colors, green would be debut, of course.
Yeah.
But I think when we couple that with all the other things, it doesn't seem like debut, you know?
Yeah. All right. Next up, The Bachelorette, or to start, The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
Because our next Bachelor has been announced rather early, I must say. They said, we don't need people to be speculating who it's going to be. We'll just tell them.
Yeah.
It is Grant Ellis. I don't know him, but everyone else does. People seem to love him. Mm-hmm. So, Mary, take it away. Tell us about this gentleman.
So, first of all, I think it's important to point out he is the second Black Bachelor.
And we didn't have to just find him from somewhere.
Right. And he's actually been on the show before. Mm-hmm. But to be honest, I was kind of surprised, I guess, that one, it was him, and two, that they named him so quickly, because literally he was named as the Bachelor on the episode, or on the day of the episode where he went home. So it wasn't even like
last year. We can't let anyone be heartbroken at all. Yeah, not even for a second.
Right. Like with Maria and Daisy, where people were like, I want it to be this person. and whatever. And instead they're like, okay, he's gone now, and we can tell you. Um, and he was let go before Hometown, so that I also like just I feel kind of like the same way I did with Jin, where like I feel like we didn't get like super deep into who he is and
Sure.
know a lot about him, but I think he's great. I don't like remember anything he said being like particularly Im- impactful, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
but he gives me similar vibes to Tyler Cameron, just like the way he like interacted with Jen and like spoke to Jen was like very like pro woman, very like romantic type. He reminds me a lot of Tyler Cameron, and I think that's like helps explain why he is so
Sure.
loved, because Tyler's also so loved. But yeah, I'm excited. I think he'll be great. And something that was funny to me was Molly Mesnick was on the show the week that Grant went home, and she had posted pictures of her and her daughter and Jen, and people were like, "Do you think Riley would ever go on The Bachelorette?" And she said that Riley said only if Grant was the Bachelor. Um, and then he was. So, but I would like to tell you more about The Bachelorette. I have much to say. Hometowns for this week, pretty uneventful in my opinion. Like a lot of the usual parents and siblings have their doubts. People say I love you. It's kind of how hometowns roll. Jeremy went home, which I figured he would because he's kind of been the farthest behind so far, in my opinion. I'm actually surprised that he was one of the ones that got a hometown. Just because in the episode before he was saying like he had never been on a one-on-one. He like felt like he hadn't really gotten to know her very well, and then all of a sudden she's like meeting his family. Um, Also, I forgot that he was the one that had the sports car intro
Mm.
where he got out of the car and said like, despite what this car may imply, I actually have a huge penis. And
Mm-hmm.
so he had to his parents seemed to have the most doubts about his relationship with Jen, and his mom was like, she told Jen like, I hope this works out for you, like wishing you all the best. I don't think you're gonna end up with my son, but also she was mortified when she heard about his entrance. She was like, you did not say
Good.
that. Yeah, because it was mortifying.
Mm-hmm.
Another favorite little thing that came out of hometowns was Jen asked Devin's friends. She said, "Do y'all also think of him like Pete Davidson?" And they looked at her like she had two heads. They were like, "What? No?" And he was like, "Oh, this is like
Mm.
really weird. I don't know." But what's most interesting since we last recorded is the week of decisions on who would go into hometowns, of course.
Yeah.
So, Sam M, we know him. He's Devin's arch nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
He like out of nowhere got really weird, and on the group date that week they went on a radio show together, which it was Molly Mesnick's radio show, and he said a lot of like red flaggy things, like things that one you never should say on The Bachelorette, but two, it's crazy that they all came out at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So before they started, it was like Jen and the host of the show, and they like asked her about the guys that are coming on the date, and they asked her like who do you feel like the most connected with, like all this stuff. And so she was talking about the guys, and she said like, I think I need more time to talk to Sam because we have a really strong physical connection, but I just feel like something is missing. And toward the end of the date, they said that they like wanted to pick a guy to do a one-on-one interview with Jen that they felt like she needed to get more questions with, basically.
Sure.
And they picked Sam, and so basically they just had her and Sam have a conversation on air. And first, he tells her that he signed up for the show because he knew that the Bachelorette was going to be either Daisy or Maria.
I
And
mean, much did everyone else, but
right. He was surprised and kind of put off when it was Jen because she isn't his type. And so he almost didn't come on the show, but he decided that he would because having a wife and kids is his dream.
Perfect.
I don't care who it is.
Not my type is crazy.
I just want a wife and kids for the
Yeah.
love of God. He then tells her that if he were to say he had been falling in love with her from the start, he would be lying because
Okay.
he was worried when they first met that she wouldn't be able to show love the way he does and wouldn't be able to like really I can't think of like how he worded it, but like he kind of it made it sound like he was saying that he didn't know like what capacity she had for love almost. Like he said it really weird.
Was she
And
stupid?
then yeah. And then he said that he didn't realize until she made a toast about wanting a ferocious love that like he kind of was into her and like that sounds like what he wants too. And so then he's like
How
so
so?
then it was fine. And then he said they like asked all of them like how would you describe Jen and blah, blah. And so then she's like asking him when they're on like one on one together like how would you describe like your first impression of me? And he said like I think you're obviously stunning but that will fade.
Fair.
Fear
Fair.
not, you will be ugly one day.
Fair to say I should get to know you.
So yeah,
But
so she says, okay, so when that fades, what will be left that you like about me? You
yeah.
know? And he
Then you
said,
didn't have to say that thing.
right. He said, you're selfless. And she said, but like, how? How do you know that I'm selfless? Like, what about me, in your opinion, have I
She's
done that
saying
is
all this
selfless?
on the radio show.
Yes. And he said, you're either selfless or you're full of shit. And no one who's full of shit would be here with 25 men the way you are. Okay.
Okay.
And then he says, and then like he's like rambling, and he goes, "Oh wait, I can think of one thing that proves you're selfless." He said, "Our first conversation on night one was so hot."
Like
Yeah, he was like, "It was
spicy hot.
hot." Yes, and then he was like, and then he said, "And since then, I felt like you've kept me in a closet."
So it's like
What does that mean? And
selfless of her because he knows she wants to fuck him, but she's like not.
I don't know, like I genuinely have
He's
no
like
idea.
keeping her distance even though she really can't resist.
The only thing that made this worth watching was that the other men that were on the group date got to watch it as it was happening, and they were cracking me up. Devin was like, he said, the thing about Sam is he's always talking, but nothing's really coming out of his mouth. And then they were
Mm-hmm.
like, she's asking him questions about like her, like how do you feel about me? How would you describe me? And he keeps talking about himself. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's asking him for examples of how to be selfless, and he's not talking about anything selfless except when he said, "I'm selfless."
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy. The things that are the words. Um so at the end of the show, her face is like a dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're not saying what I want to hear. You're not reassuring me at all." So at the end of the show, I think he kind of sees that he's crumbling here, and so he says, "Well, you know, like my love language is physical touch," and he said, "Like this," and he grabbed her like head like this, and he kissed her very uncomfortably. Like she like her neck was like twisted in a weird way and she was kind of frozen while he was like making out with her. And then she finally like got him off of her and she was like she said, "Slow down, cowboy."
Oh my god.
Um so eventually, and this was like kind of continuing throughout the week. She was like, I did not hear what I wanted to hear from him on this. Or I guess maybe this was the same night, like the night of the group date. She was like, I didn't hear what I wanted to hear from him. And she like kept asking him, and he was saying the same thing. So like basically, she realized that uh, Devin is 100% correct. Sam never truly says anything. He always talks about. He kept saying before the show, you know me, I'm gonna keep the main thing the main thing. Like, no, no, no. He said he's always talking about keeping the main thing the main thing. He's always talking about putting his best foot forward. All of these cliches, and then he tells her he loves her or he's falling in love with her, and she asks him why, and he can't respond. So this is like the part that I saw in the previews where she was like, what about me do you love? Why are you saying you love me? You said you didn't even want me. So what
Yeah.
changed your mind about me? And he just like cannot pinpoint a single thing he likes about her specifically as a person. So she
Yeah.
sends him home
Yeah.
on the date.
Good.
Much to everyone's relief. Like everyone at this point has decided that Devin's been right the whole time and Sam fucking sucks.
Fair.
So
It does sound like it's getting piping hot.
it
I'm
is.
sticking with my guns, though,
What are your guns?
to not watch it.
Oh, it is. I think been really good, and I do think it's been a really good season, and I want to say there's something else in the previews that came up that made me think like, oh, she's gonna be sad girl again. Um. Oh, I remember. So it's down to the three that are left are Jonathan, Marcus, and Devin. So in the previews, she's on a date with Marcus, and she tells him that she thinks she like is falling in love with him, or that she thinks she is in love with him, and he like takes a deep breath and he's like, I don't feel that way right now. And it kind of like causes this big thing. And she said like in the preview that the men keep saying like they're worried they're gonna give like their 100% and she won't pick them. And she's like, I didn't like think about the fact that like I could fall in love with someone who doesn't pick me.
Right.
And like I feel like that might happen now. So I feel like there's gonna be some sad girl again, but
I feel like, and this is not to say that they're like ugly, but I feel like Jin has like shocked me in her choice of the men, in that they are like not like conventionally hot. They're not like, they look older. They look like kind of, I don't know. I just like, she's like a hottie. Like
yeah.
she's like young and like really so cute. And like she had some guys that look like Jordan and whatever. And then it feels like she's picking the ones that look like realistic finance bros. And like kind of older and like, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
girl.
Marcus, I like at first I was like, oh, I don't think Marcus is cute, but he's such a sweetie and like so great. I'm like, I feel like
I think
in
Jonathan's like
person,
probably the most attractive of the
yeah,
four.
I feel like in person, I feel like Marcus must be like so charismatic.
Yeah.
Like he just seems like a really great dude. Um, but and then Devin's got the Pete Davidson factor. She is his Kim Kardashian. She is his
Whatever.
Ariana Grande.
Whatever. All right, folks. Last segment. Buckle up. We got the Love Island reunion. We are going to walk Mary through it, and we're going to try to, at least for the part that I need someone's opinion on the most, we're going to try to get Mary's objective perspective.
I didn't read it so that I
Yeah.
could be fresh.
And I know you like can't avoid everything on the internet, but I have like a predestined hatred for these people because I already watched it. So
I truly have not seen anything about this
nice.
reunion.
So to start off, we're getting stuff all over Instagram saying sounds like production was paused. They didn't start filming till late in the night because of drama between Kaylor and Aaron. Kaylor now says that is not true. And she says what we were all thinking, which is there's no fucking way production's going to let them fight for hours and not film it.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. She also told us recently that they actually went home with her to Pennsylvania and filmed her watching Casa for the first time in her house. So you're telling me that we're supposed to believe they didn't let them fight in New York City right before the reunion without filming it, but they followed her home? Like, sorry, no.
That's icky.
Sierra, one of the Casa girls, had posted a story right after saying that the reunion was traumatizing. Daniela shared a video that was over 2 minutes long of her pleading with fans to let up on the cast because she fears that some of them may be close to suicide, leading everyone to think, what in the hell is going to happen at this reunion?
Right.
This is going to be bonkers.
This sounds worse than the Jersey Housewives.
Mm-hmm. So, at the reunion, they have 25 people and Ariana Madix. That's crazy. We did not need them all. But we have the final 4 couples come in. They are all now officially boyfriend and girlfriend. They didn't all leave officially boyfriend and girlfriend, but Miguel has asked Leah, Cordell has asked Serena, Kenny has asked Janae. Everyone is coupled up, whatever.
I did see that Cordell has a box of Cheez-Its coming out.
He does. Incredible.
I love Cheez-Its.
Long-term goals, buddy. So, but in all of this goodness, we find out that Nicole and Kendall are on the verge of breaking up, which people had wondered anyway. So Kendall was the one who had that explicit video leaked, and then all of a sudden we weren't seeing anything from them, and everyone was like, weird.
And they were like the only like interracial couple in the final 4. Is that right?
I mean, Leah and Miguel are technically, yeah, but yes, she was the only white person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember you said
she may have some background, but yeah. Nicole.
I'm just trying to picture them.
Yes.
Not that means they have to break up.
No, just of all the ones you're seeing, you're just trying to get them in your head.
Yes.
So Nicole tells us. Well, first Ariana says, "How are y'all?" And they both say nothing. And Nicole looks at Kendall and she's like, "Take it away." And he's like, "Well, so like something happened." And she's like, "Actually," and she tells us that after Kendall's explicit video was leaked, immediately upon them exiting the villa, he told her that it was an ex-girlfriend of his from a long time ago. So like a committed relationship from years ago, and she posted it. She tells us now that he lied to her face. It was actually posted by a person who he was talking to on Tinder after he had arrived in Fiji, but before he entered the villa. So not a long time ago and not a committed relationship. And a lie. So before I say anything else, insert your thoughts here.
I guess I have a question before my thoughts.
Give them.
So the video you said like brought up questions about his sexuality.
So I had seen that, and now I wonder if it just means like sexuality, like just sex, like him being sexual should not be on display. Because
I'm trying to figure out, like, is it a blatant lie? Like, she's like, obviously, your long-term girlfriend didn't film this because this is not a girlfriend. This is not a girl.
Right. She did say girl both times.
Okay.
It was I said person, but she said a girl that I found out it's a girl he was talking to on Tinder.
Okay.
So,
I think, and maybe this is a hot take, I truly don't think anyone goes on Love Island to find love. Like I feel like
it is a hot take.
it's not where people go to find like a long-term loving drama-free relationship.
It is
And
where toxic people go to
so
find love. That is fair.
yeah, so I feel like I'm not like surprised that he was hooking up with other people in Fiji right
But
before he started
before, yeah,
filming the show. Like that doesn't surprise me.
yeah.
I would
It's
say.
also, I think, a video he filmed himself and sent
Mm.
versus like this person being in his hotel room.
Like Rachel.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Ariana's like, I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really have like an opinion other than I'm not surprised. I also feel like it I understand if she's upset about the lying part. I don't really feel like the hooking up thing should matter because
I think she's trying to just talk about the lying.
yeah, like within that show, people are hooking up with more than one person. Um and so like whatever, but I understand if she's upset about like the lying part.
So she says that he lied to her, and then once she found out, or he admitted, or whatever, he didn't speak to her for 2 days. He says, I was giving you space. I thought you needed space. She says, what the fuck? So everyone at the reunion, or at least the main people, obviously it was 25 of them, so the people we cared about, were all defending Kendall, saying, Nicole, he loves you so much. He has been in contact with all of us trying to make this better. He feels so bad about lying to you. He was in such a high pressure, embarrassing situation. Like, he loves you, he loves you, he loves you. And she's like, I love him too. I don't know why y'all keep telling me he loves me. I know that he loves me, but if he loves me, why is he lying to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand. And Janae was a refreshing perspective because she just kept saying like, okay, we're not agreeing, but like, Nicole, what do you want him to do now? What would you want moving forward? Because she's like, we're still together. He says to her, I hate that this has had a domino effect toward ruining our relationship. And I am sorry that I fell victim to this and I didn't know how to handle it.
Those are very carefully curated words.
They
All of
are.
them.
And none of them subtle,
Mm-mm.
frankly. So in the moment, I felt very much like, whoa. But like Leah is on Kendall's side, and I'm like, I would do.
And
Leah
he's
is
the like feminist guy.
He's the one that I told you like the girls were most disappointed in him because
Yeah.
he was like their guy. But I'm like, Leah's like my Paige DeSorbo. Like Leah's on his side. Like, what? Okay,
She
then
is my guiding light.
whatever. But I'm like so confused because I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he was doing in the video. But like, this is now public, and you tell me like a lie, and then you don't speak to me, and then everyone in the room is telling me that I'm not even allowed to be mad that you lied. Yeah. And like, that's just bonkers to me. But on the internet, people are also all on Kendall's side. Mostly, from what I'm gathering, is because that he was the one who was violated. Yeah. People suspect that Nicole just got the ick after seeing the video and that she's looking for a way out. I feel obviously so bad for him that this happened. I am torn because like I also get that like I don't know, it feels like separate situations for her that like a day into their real life relationship, he is lying to her about something pretty big. and then he's not handling it well, he's not talking to her or whatever, and then all of his friends are just saying like, well, he's sorry. And finally Serena did pipe up and she said, hey, I don't like a man to lie to me. So honestly, it's just up to you now. Do you give him a second chance or do you cut it off? If you cut it off, we're not going to blame you. He lied to you. But like, you just got to decide. This tweet, I think, sums up the viewer's sentiment that I have found. It says, I'm still very confused what the fuck Nicole was on about. The worst thing ever, the most humiliating and traumatizing thing happened to Kendall, and she's upset that he lied about it. I would lie too. I don't like him, and what was done to him was a crime. So, I've thought about this for many days, and I think that people wish she would have followed his lead when he started to say, like, something happened, and he like wanted to remain vague. She took offense to that and she was like, oh, fuck off, like, you're gonna own up to your shit, you're gonna say what happened. But I think people don't like that she then went into detail about this video that he clearly didn't want to talk about. When it first leaked, he like posted and he was very like, man, ha ha ha, like, sucks to come out of the villa like this, sucks to have my privacy violated, but like, thanks for backing me up, we're moving on, whatever. And so I feel like he wanted to approach it a little differently. He wanted to like pretend he didn't care. He wanted to talk about it as little as possible. And so like her bringing it up sucks.
Yeah. I think that when you said like maybe she got the ick, like something clicked in my brain. Like I was like, okay, like thinking back to people saying like brings up questions about his sexuality. Is it something in the video that she does not like? You know?
And so, yes, we're finding out it was to a girl, but like, is the content a little different than just like a dick pic or a whacking off video?
Yeah.
And in that way, like, is it even more of a problem to bring it up on camera? Like,
right.
Because it's like something that he's going to be made fun of for. And then is it even more likely that she got the ick? Because it's like a little bit like different.
And like it's different and you're sending it to someone you don't know.
Right. Right. And like, sure, he maybe could have hooked up with this girl, but like, and I've tried not to rack my brain too hard about like what filming your own ass cheeks would entail.
Right.
But I'm just like, maybe I do need the content to feel as bad for him as everyone else seems to. Here's my thing, me and Billy were saying, is that like from watching the show, I just find Kendall to be very disingenuous. I find him to be fakey. But what I found on the internet is people feel the same way about Nicole. People have felt the whole time like she didn't like him that much. People felt like she just wanted to win. And so now I'm like, oh, like, is it all just coming down to how people read them?
Yeah. I also think it's possible that he sent this video to someone that he maybe thought would be into something he was into and they weren't, and they shared it to embarrass him. And like regardless of why they shared it, like it's illegal, you can't be doing that. But like I think that it changes like the way you feel as a victim. Like do you feel like you're a victim of a crime, or do you feel like you're a victim of like humiliation, you know? And so I think that like if that is, I think that regardless of the intention, I think he was humiliated by it.
Yeah.
And I think that changes his status in victimhood.
Sure.
And then to have somebody that like
isn't handling it
right
gently, is not like
and like and fair if she got the ick, you know, like you don't have to be into everything your partner's into. And if your partner wants to do something you don't want to do, you are free to cut and run. But like I think that it's the like when it gets hashed out at a reunion,
and I think
makes it tricky.
I've been trying to put myself in the opposite situation where like if a woman was like had a sex crime committed against her, and then she lied to her partner or like fibbed a little or like made it sound a little better for her than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person was like, you lied to me, you lied to me. Like, we'd be like, okay, come on. Like, she went through something traumatizing. And so in that respect, like, I understand that, like, he didn't just like lie and be like, that's not me. That's not me in that video. That's AI. He said, it was a girlfriend. And like, yeah, that sucks. But then I'm like, maybe that isn't that big of a deal. So I don't know. And it was also his first day in a real life relationship with her. So he's probably like, I'm supposed to tell her what now?
Right.
Like, so that's the part that I'm stressed about, because I hate being on the opposite side of the internet about something serious.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is wrong with me? But once again, my like natural inclination is to be like, men ain't shit. So find me a way to be on Nicole's side. And now I'm like, okay, fine. But on to the Kaylor and Aaron drama, which we've all been waiting for. So they were asked about their current status. They said, not good, meaning they broke up. Aaron says, it's not been good because I have been lying to her. Yeah,
actively?
duh.
Like,
yeah.
It's it's the use of a present tense verb that concerns me. Like the other day, my husband texted me and he said, someone is spraying fart spray in my school. And I read it out loud to someone and I said, is spraying like currently and like ongoingly? Like there that immediately sets a different tone than I have lied or someone did spray fart spray.
He has been lying over and over again.
Right.
He begins by saying, I lied to her about what happened with Daniela. I did stick my hand down her pants. I did kiss her. I did what? Kaylor says, you did what now? And you're telling me this here? So, they had all this relationship after the show. She watched back Casa, and apparently they spent the last 3 days, even though they're broken up, the last 3 days together in New York before the reunion, having screaming matches, might I add. And he didn't feel the need to tell her, by the way, I stuck my hand down Danielle's pants, and I'm going to say it at the reunion.
Right.
He actually said, I just had lied to you so much, and like it didn't work out, that I just figured I'd tell you here.
You figured wrong. You figured wrong.
Livid. Also, dude, it didn't even get aired. So why say it at all?
Right, free and clear, my friend.
Shut your mouth. So Kaylor starts going off. She says, I don't want anything to do with you. I never want to speak to you again. You're disgusting. I do not deserve that. I walked into the villa being so confident and you beat me down, and I left a different fucking girl. It's not cool and it's not fun. And then she says, Liv, switch seats with me. And she moved away from him, and it was so good. And she said on reunions or on interviews since then, kind of the same thing. She was like, I look at that girl on this show and I feel so sad for her. Like, I don't know her. Like, I went in a different person. Like, I don't know how I let him do this to me. And it's so sad.
That's so sad.
And even in the reunion.
Like, how long does this show last? Like,
I don't.
For a reality
show, it's like Big Brother, so it's like realistic, but
like for a reality show relationship that's like what, a couple months at the most, like to tear you down that quickly.
And it was so sad to me that like when she was talking about the parts that she watched that hurt her, her biggest takeaways weren't even from Casa. She said, episode 6, when I kissed someone in a game, in a competition, and he lost his shit on me. And I think like that's when she realized like he was nuts. Like he was like controlling what I did, and then he went and stuck his hand on somebody's pants. Like, apparently. New information, but apparently.
Right.
So that was rough. And then I only saw it a couple times, thank the freaking Lord. But him and Rob went on the Vial Files. So did Nicole. But they went on the Vial Files, and all of a sudden I'm seeing all these tweets. They're like, we're all on Aaron's side now. And I was like, yeah,
No, we're not.
No, I don't.
Don't speak for we all.
I don't know about that. And it was like, because he was crying and he said that he's the one that dumped her. She was unhappy and he had to remove himself. So now we're on his side because he removed himself, but still didn't tell her the truth. And like,
I don't know this guy, but I imagine that he cries like Tom Sandoval.
He cries like a pouty, like blowfish, because that's what he looks like. But he's also like, everyone always keeps saying like, this dude won Traders UK. Like, he knows what he's doing. Y'all have got to stop falling for this. Like, what?
Literally the name of the show.
Yeah. So that was crazy, but thank God they broke up. Please God, Kaylor, be done. The aftermath from the reunion, because that's what Love Island gives us, is some crazy. I'm convinced they don't sign a single NDA because these people just go bonkers.
They sign an NDA that says like you must disclose everything.
Please talk shit about everyone. Nicole posted the day after the reunion aired that although she and Kendall agreed to work on things after the reunion, he had 2 days later called to tell her he wanted to break up. Daya, one of the Casa girls, who got virtually no speaking time at the reunion, took to social media afterward to say, people said, who else gives Mean Girl vibes? And she said, Ariana Madix. She said she spent the whole reunion trying to make it about herself and Vanderpump Rules or whatever that show she's on is called.
Dagger to my heart.
Ma'am.
Whatever it's called.
That's what brought half your fucking viewership.
Right.
You hush. And then we talked last time about how it was being said that 2 cast members may have been fooling around the entire time off camera. But Janae now breaks it to us that this is not true. And it was only a rumor that was started as a joke.
It wasn't funny.
Not funny.
That's my favorite line.
Or
when a kid does something
is it true?
Like, it was a joke. I'm like, it wasn't funny.
Yeah. Is it true? And now she's just like covering for someone.
It was her.
When we were kids and we used to lie and then we'd be like, I was just kidding.
Yeah. Yesterday, one of my kids told someone to shut up. And I said, did you say that? And he said, yeah, but it was a joke. I said, not a good one.
No, not funny. I did not laugh.
Who's laughing?
Yeah. So we're done, I guess. But Kaylor talked about them filming her at home. And then I did hear Janae in an interview maybe like slip up. And she was like, they were like in Dallas. And she was like, producers told us to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, y'all still have production with you when you were like out in the world again? So then I'm like, are we going to get some like aftermath thing? Like, I'm not understanding. Or did they just like film it in case something crazy happened to play at the reunion? But I'm sad it's all over.
Tragedy. I did start watching the first season like lightly.
Like, of USA?
Yeah.
The first season on Peacock or the first season ever?
Whatever, I guess on Peacock.
Oh, okay.
But not really like paying attention.
Yeah, it's not as good as this one.
We'll see.
Well, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.